Hi there, my name is Porsha Lauri. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm bringing back one of my favorite videos I've filmed so far that I did a get ready with me while I talked about Woodstock. And if you haven't checked out that video, it'll be linked in the description. I had a lot of fun filming that. I didn't know if it would be fun to be on camera doing my makeup because I don't want to be a beauty guru or anything. I was able to kind of disconnect from the fact that I was filming and able to just talk about stuff. So that's what I'm doing again today. I have a tendency to nosedive into TV shows or movies, so I want to make some time to talk about music. Two pop star feuds that were incredibly popular. Oh, that's so redundant. So I'm talking to you about feuds in pop music. I'm going to talk about two different ones that I think have very interesting origin stories and played out for many, many years. If this interests you, if you like talking about music and interpersonal relationships between artists, do me a solid and drop a like on this video. And if you walk on over to that subscribe button and hit the bell next to it, you'll be notified every time I upload. Let's go ahead and, oh my god, I get to say it again, boogie into it. I don't remember what video I did this in. I'll try to link that somewhere in the description too. So I have all my makeup set out in front of me. I know you can't see, but as I've said before, I'm not a beauty guru, so I really don't want you to watch me and think like this is how you should put on makeup. I have a mirror over here, so if you see me continuously looking over here, I'm not looking to someone, I'm looking at myself, so I can make sure I'm like kind of doing what I'm trying to do. Also, I'm about to look real ashy in a second. I told you I wasn't going to walk you through this, but here I am walking you through this. But I am going to put on powder before I put on my foundation. I feel like that's a really big faux pas, so like if this triggers you, I'm sorry, but I have incredibly oily skin. And right now I'm out of my favorite foundation and I only have my Milk Blur Liquid foundation, and I love this stuff because it's like so, like the color is so good, but it is really like wet. I don't have another way to describe that. Ew, I hate using that word. I don't want to say ew. No, can't even finish that word. But whatever, it's really runny, so like that doesn't help. It literally just evaporates from my face. It just slides down my face and then I don't have a face anymore. Okay, so the first feud I want to talk about, first of all, as I was writing this down and starting the process of like making notes for this video, I realized that like this isn't really a pop music feud. Like they made pop music and they were pretty popular in the early 2000s, but their main job was actresses. So if you know me in real life or you knew me as a child, you would know I am obsessed with Hilary Duff. I've called her my spirit animal on numerous occasions. I think she's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I just really like her. And so I grew up being a huge Hilary Duff fan. So I feel like the way I'm going to divulge what happens is definitely going to be on like pro Hilary, but like I don't really care. This feud is so silly. I forgot that it's really hard to talk when you're bouncing a freaking beauty blender across your skin. And I feel like I sound like I'm inside of an earthquake. Anyway, back to my feud. Back in 2000, there was an episode of Lizzie McGuire. There's a storyline where Aaron Carter's coming to town because he just got to film a new Christmas music video. So they hear about Aaron Carter coming into town and everyone's freaking out. Everyone's in love with Aaron Carter because this is 2000. That is where Hilary Duff and Aaron Carter met. And in 2000, they began dating. Then 2 years later, when Aaron was 15, he decided that he was getting kind of bored of Hilary. And so he began dating another famous sort of pop singer, Lindsay Lohan. Okay, I think I've had the shit out of this into my face. So Hilary Duff breaks things off with Aaron Carter. She's like, I'm not sharing you with the Parent Trap. You need to get the F out of here. So they break up after she hears about Lindsay, but then the couple ends up getting back together. And as some form of retaliation, I guess you could say, the two actresses started attending each other's events. This is some Hollywood, I have money kind of stuff and a lot of spare time. And so Hilary was seen at the Freaky Friday premiere, which this also makes sense that they would go to each other's premieres because they also work for this big monster called Disney. So to some degree, like, aren't they just required to go to these premieres? It's a chance to be seen, and when you're in Hollywood, you gotta be seen. So Hilary Duff goes to the Freaky Friday premiere, which leads to Lindsay then going to the Cheaper by the Dozen premiere, which I find to be really funny because, like, I don't know how premieres work. I've, like, obviously never been to one, but I imagine, like, they're walking the carpet to try to make some kind of, you know, media storm or, like, trash talk each other or, like, whatever they're doing. But then, like, they gotta go inside and watch the movie. So, like, is it really worth it? Like, is your 5 minutes of pettiness, like, really worth sitting through 2 hours of Cheaper by the Dozen 2? Hilary Duff is casted for A Cinderella Story, which is, like, my favorite Hilary Duff movie ever. Lindsay Lohan, who co-starred with Chad Michael Murray in Freaky Friday, calls him and warns him what a bitch Hilary is. Captain Petty, dude. Captain Petty. So they're going to each other's premieres. Lindsay calls Chad to be like, watch out for Hilary. And then it's just like a kind of a press war after that, back and forth. Like, there was really no reason for them to, like, continue hating each other. Like, it clearly stemmed from, like, this gross, disgusting piece of shit human. Wow, that was really intense. I don't think Aaron deserves all of that. He was 15. Shit happens. But, you know, like, it was all over a dude that, like, you know, couldn't keep it in his pants. So, like, why are we so angry at each other as women? But here we are. It was also a different time period. It was the early 2000s, and the media for sure wasn't helping them to mend things, okay? On an episode of TRL, Lindsay Lohan, they ask her, like, you know how they have those things where you have, like, a second to answer each question. It's supposed to be just, like, whatever's on top of your mind, off the top of your head. And they ask her, like, what's something unknown about you? And she says, I love you, Hilary Duff. It looked fake as shit to me, too. So if I was Hilary Duff, I'd be pretty pissed. And basically, Hilary really took the high road. Like, I'm not just trying to be on her side, but for the most part, she didn't really, like, retaliate. She was basically just like, she's a mean girl, and, like, I'm not gonna talk to her. And, like, that's it. Like, that's all there is. She sent some mean stuff to me. She's passive aggressive, and I don't like her. And, like, you're not required to like everybody. It's fine. Even before, like, the Cinderella Story came out, Hilary and Aaron officially called it quits in 2003. After that TRL thing, Lindsay also went on SNL, and they basically, her opening monologue, they just poked fun at the relationship between her and Hilary Duff and basically making fun of Hilary Duff. I haven't mentioned it, but I am a Lindsay Lohan fan. Even to this day, I think she's a strange human being, to be completely honest. I don't know about her and her character. However, from an actor's point of view, I don't know, I'd still like to see her make a comeback. But to me, like, everything that Lindsay did, it really came across really petty. So it's hard for me to be like, I see where she's coming from. I don't. So after the whole SNL thing, Hilary kind of drew the line in the sand, and she was basically like,
I wasn't honored. I don't think it's an honor to be made fun of on Saturday Night Live. I'm not here to talk bad about her like she talks bad about me all the time. And I just knew that it was going to happen. She
banned Lindsay from coming to the Cinderella Story premiere, which I kind of think is just like, heh. I have notes on this side and a mirror over here, so I'm like I'm looking everywhere but the camera. That's the fun part of filming this. In a Blender magazine interview, she basically openly admitted, like, I hate her. Like, I don't like her at all. Had nothing positive to say. And keep in mind, during this time, it's about between 2003 and 2004 that all of this is taking place. Lindsay is literally skyrocketing. Like, Freaky Friday came out. Mean Girls had come out in 2004, so that was huge. I believe that's why she was on SNL, was around the time of that premiere. So, like, Lindsay Lohan was also this kind of unstoppable force. And although Hilary was very popular, I don't think she was ever as popular as Lindsay Lohan. I mean, granted, Lindsay Lohan also was huge tabloid fodder. Basically, she was just being talked about a lot. She was being talked about a lot on, like, every kind of, like, entertainment center. You know, she was known for being a party girl. And then she released an album during this time, too. That was really huge. I remember her all over TRL, like, her music. So, like, They were both really big at the time, but Lindsay, I think, was always a little bit bigger. So to me, even though I was always like kind of more on Hillary's side, I usually saw the perspective from Lindsay because she was more popular. And then during one of my favorite Hilary Duff eras, she dated Joel Madden from Good Charlotte. That was a terrible idea. I don't know why I didn't shut my mouth for 5 seconds. So when she was dating Joel Madden, it's reported that at a concert, Lindsay Lohan's brother was there, and he was a really big Good Charlotte fan, and he asked Joel, who was Hilary Duff's boyfriend, the lead singer, for an autograph. And reportedly, he refused to give the kid an autograph unless Lindsay would apologize to Hilary. Again, I'm just gonna go with this whole thing is really petty and silly, but I mean, I think his heart was in the right place, but to like deny her little brother like an autograph is kind of like, come on, how old are you? And also, it should be said that there was quite a big age difference between Hilary Duff and Joel Madden, and that was like a point of contention in the press a lot, I remember. So like he definitely should have been the bigger person and just given the autograph and maybe said like, hey, tell your sister to like chill. Could you? Thanks. You know, I just think that would have been a better way to respond. Remember, they kind of villainized Hilary for that a lot too in the press, like saying how like crappy that was. But like there was so much other crap that was going on that like why are we gonna point that out as like the worst thing? It was also said that after that, reportedly, Lindsay Lohan tried to get in touch with Hilary by giving her a call. But when Hilary received this call, she was with her sister Haley Duff. She picked up the phone when Lindsay called and immediately hung up. And supposedly this was Lindsay's first attempt at, you know, settling the score and making everything okay, and she was hung up on. I don't know the legitimacy of this story. I feel like it's kind of made up. Like that feels very like US Daily Mail. But then in 2007, during Hilary's release of her album Dignity, like my favorite Hilary Duff album, she actually invited Lindsay to her album release party where they were able to catch up and they put the feud to rest. And Hilary reportedly said in an interview that she's a really nice girl and everything that happened to them was when they were really young, and so they just decided to let it go. So my thoughts on this feud is that it was, I think, largely played up in the media, and I don't know if it was played up in the media to benefit their careers or if it was just really just petty high school girl stuff just played out in front of the world. I do appreciate how they were able to come together at the end, and I actually find their feud to be pretty relatable. Like, a lot of people go through situations like this, and oftentimes it will end with just either people like not caring anymore because you like grow up and don't give a shit about the people that the problem was over anyway, or yeah, I don't know where I was going with that statement. I kind of just said nothing and rambled for a minute. And they have since continued to say like nice things about each other in the press, so I really feel like this feud is dead. Also, they're way too old to be carrying on a feud about Aaron Carter. All right, so now that I'm done with the base, but now I'm doing the eyes, which actually take me the longest, which is perfect because this next feud is very long and detailed. Without further introduction, I'm talking about the famous Taylor Swift and Katy Perry feud. So Taylor Swift and Katy Perry pretty much started their careers around the same time. I was fans of both of their music right from the jump. Katy Perry is actually like, we're not that far off in age, and Taylor Swift and I are only a year apart, or not even a year apart. She's only a couple months older than me. So I was a fan of both of their music because I was really going through a lot of the same things that they're going through. But when they first came onto the scene, I think it needs to be noted that they were also, even though they were peers in a similar field, they were in different genres at the time. So Katy Perry has always been like a pop star, although I think it's fair to say that at the beginning of her career, she was a lot more indie pop. Like definitely more notes of like that kind of cool emo sound that was so popular at the time mixed with like classic pop sounds, as opposed to like her music now I would say is more electro pop, which is what's more popular now anyway. And At the time, Taylor Swift was considered country, but I've always been on the fence about whether or not she was really country. Like, to me, she had a slight twang in her voice, and I didn't know why that just automatically classified her as country. So they were friendly. You could see lots of pictures of them interacting. They were both huge megastars with huge like #1 singles or albums or whatever. So they were always kind of in the same circle. And it also should be noted that Katy Perry even performed with Taylor Swift at her Fearless Arena tour. So that needs to be said too. Oh my God, okay, I feel like the Swifties are gonna come for me because I'm about to butcher when these albums came out. So in 2013-14, on Taylor Swift's Fearless tour, there were dancers who had previously danced with Katy Perry. And Katy Perry had texted them to let them know, hey, like, I'm gonna be going on another tour soon, like, just wanna put it out there if you'd like to be a part of it. And I'm also not sure, it might have not been the Fearless tour, maybe it was the Red tour. I think it was the Red tour, and I'm messing up my dates. That's where everything started to go downhill. So these dancers told Taylor that they wanted to leave to do Katy Perry's tour, but they were under contract, so they couldn't just leave. And so what ended up happening is that Taylor Swift fired them from her tour. I don't think her intention was ever to actually steal people away. I still don't think it was her intention to steal people away from Taylor's tour. I just think that she just wanted those specific dancers. She just had a connection with them and she wanted them to be part of it. Like, they don't tell you that when you're a YouTuber, you're not allowed to have air conditioning on when you're filming. But you can't, because like, you will not hear me and it'll be the worst video ever. So I gotta hurry up. I'm gonna pass the hell out. Taylor Swift finally said something in the media, and she effectively said that I found out that we weren't friends at all, that we were straight up enemies. And with regards to Katy Perry. And this was around the time that Bad Blood was coming out. And she had said in that same Rolling Stone interview how she wrote a song about another female pop artist who had basically tried to sabotage her arena tour. Rolling Stone interview came out. Katy Perry tweeted, "Watch out for the Regina George in sheep's clothing." Which obviously she's not naming names, but we all know what that tweet was about. And the feud begins. Sweating so profusely right now. After the Bad Blood music video comes out, there's a little bit of controversy on Twitter when Nicki Minaj enters the scene. So Nicki Minaj tweets basically throwing shade at MTV, the VMAs, for not including her song Anaconda as part of the Song of the Year category, I believe. I guess if you have feature slim bodies in your music videos, you will get nominated. Taylor Swift assumes that this is attacking her Bad Blood music video, and she takes this as a personal attack. And she says, you know, like, I don't understand why we have to pit women against each other. Maybe one of the men took your spot. To which Katy Perry responded saying, isn't it ironic that you're worried about her pitting women against each other when your entire Bad Blood music video is about the takedown of another woman? Now, of course, this is all like hypothetical, like no one's talking directly to each other, we're all just talking about each other. And ultimately, like, this little snippet doesn't matter, but it just kind of builds a pattern of like these constant little jabs and like taking every opportunity to jump on a bandwagon when someone's done something wrong or something out of pocket, I guess you could say. And just to resolve that, Taylor Swift actually performed with Nicki Minaj at the VMAs. And then this happened again with the whole Twitter thing when Calvin Harris got on Twitter and was going on a rant about how upset he was that, I don't know how exactly it was leaked, but from most of the sources I could find online is that fans figured out that Taylor Swift wrote This Is What You Came For, which is technically Calvin Harris's and Rihanna's song. And he, I guess, got really upset on Twitter. He came after Taylor saying something to the effect of like, I know that you just need a new person to bury like you did Katy, which is pretty poignant. So then 2015, Taylor's actually been pretty silent about the entire thing, and she's on hiatus after her I think it's, yeah, the 1989 tour. In 2015, Katy Perry is starting to market her next album, Witness. One of the first singles from the album is Swish Swish Swish, which is the retaliation song to Bad Blood, ironically featuring a rap by Nicki Minaj, who, as far as we all know, is still okay. Like, her and Taylor don't have any beef, but she is featured on the Swish Swish song. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not real familiar with the song. There was a lot of controversy when it came out surrounding the music video that I'm not gonna talk about, but the song as a whole, I'm just not that interested in it, so I really haven't spent a lot of time thinking about it. But two things to notice is that, one, the name of it is obviously very similar to Taylor Swift's last name, and also the cover art when it first drops. So, you know, like when an album or when a song first drops, there's not immediately a music video. When you look at just the audio version of the song, the art is it looks like Katy Perry's hand, I'm gonna assume it is, holding a receipt that says a receipt for like Karma coffee and tea or something like that. And clearly it was a very poignant song about, you know, what goes around comes around, essentially. James Corden's, she did a segment of Carpool Karaoke where she fully told her side of the story, which is actually kind of refreshing. When you're watching something go down in the media and then someone finally comes forward and says, hey, yeah, this is happening and this is my thoughts on it. It was nice to get a genuine idea of what the hell was going on. And essentially she just says to James, like, she has to, the ball's in her court. She started this mess, she should finish it. And then this to me is the most petty thing. I'm pretty sure this was done on purpose. Taylor Swift was a huge advocate for artists being paid for their music. Think of that what you will, but that's what her platform is. So she had removed her music from, I think it was like Apple Music and Spotify, but famously you couldn't stream her music for a very, very long time. At midnight, the same day that Witness, Katy Perry's new album, was being released, Taylor Swift had announced, like, I think a day prior or hours before, that she would be re-releasing all her entire music catalog for streaming. So it was going to be available everywhere. And they said it was because her 1989 album sold over 10 million copies. But I think it was pretty petty. I think it was a small jab at taking a little bit of Katy's thunder. And to be honest, I don't know if it played a role into her album sales, but I do know Witness was not her best album as far as sales go. Okay, we're almost done, guys, and I'm about to not be so hot anymore. So I couldn't find any tweets that show Katy Perry like reacting to the news of this happening, but I'm sure she took this pretty hard. To promote the album Witness coming out, they actually did something that, like, I haven't seen anyone do it since, and I don't know if they'll do it again. Katy Perry live streamed on YouTube for the entire weekend of the release of Witness, which, cool idea, but like also that's intense. And I know a lot of things happened on that live stream, but the part that pertains to my story is that she mentioned that she thought it was time. It was time for the feud to end. It was time to bury the hatchet. And a lot of this time she spent saying she would accept apologies, but she was waiting for Taylor to do it. And this is the first time that she admitted, you know, I can do something. I can end it. I'm gonna apologize. I feel like this has gone too far. And she said a lot of really nice things about Taylor and how, you know, she thinks she's an excellent songwriter and, you know, gave her accolades. And it seemed like maybe, it partially could have been for press. It partially could have been for album sales. But also, like, it was just time for the whole thing to be over, you know? It's been years at this point. Like, nothing happens for a little while. Taylor Swift went on hiatus for a long time. She has to do one more petty thing. Like, just one more thing to just really put the nail in the casket. And that was at the 2017 the VMAs. Katy Perry hosted, and guess who dropped a new single the night of the VMAs? The one and only Taylor Swift. I would say this was the end of the fight. As far as like throwing jabs at each other, I feel like the song was more made about her beef with the Kardashians and all of that crap that went down. But it's also clear that she was coming after Katy in that too. But after this, like, we really didn't hear, like, she didn't say this is about Katie or mention that at all. Just basically that the old Taylor was dead and she's not gonna be kicked around anymore, and that's that. Cut to Katie doing probably the coolest thing I've ever heard of to end a fight. Is she sent Taylor Swift a physical olive branch, a really beautiful way to say I'm sorry, or to extend a hand and say, like, let's be better than who we were. Invited Katy Perry over to her house, and she had hand-baked cookies, and Katie said they really are hand-baked, and like Taylor really made them, and they squashed it. Katie said, you know, they do run into each other, and instead of it being an avoiding thing and awkward, you know, like, let's just make the best of it, you know? And they effectively squashed the beef, and I think that's so cool. Like, they really did it in a way that made it feel, I don't know, kind of genuine. And of course, you can catch their blossoming friendship at the end of You Need to Calm Down music video. I am so sweaty. Okay, so I'm wrapping this up. So those were the feuds that I wanted to talk about. So tell me in the comments which pop star feud most interested you, and also let me know, do you think that these feuds were real? Because I always wonder how much of this is created to create more buzz around the artist. Maybe they have a dying career, maybe they have a new career. And I can't really tell with either of these if they're 100% truthful. Do me a solid and drop a like on this video if you like this format, if you like me doing my makeup and talking about things. I'd love to do this again. Please don't forget to hit my subscribe button. I really enjoy making videos here, and it's so helpful when people who enjoy my videos subscribe so that I know I'm doing something right. That's all I've got for you today. I hope you had fun watching me do my makeup really terribly. I think it came out, it's fine. It's on my face. But that's all I got for you for today. So until next time, I'll catch you later. Bye.